We'll come back to Professor Morita's talks once again. But before that, I would like to ask whether Professor Jia Lee is here and he would like to share some of his thoughts with us. Professor Jia Lee, are you here?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Everybody can hear me. Okay, thank you very much. So I'd like to thank Professor Das for challenge organizing this meeting is very important for me. And I want to remember Morita Sensei, Professor Morita, and celebrate his remarkable the achievement in this night. So Morita Sensei was my doctoral supervisor. Maybe I have said by Dr. Pepper, maybe I was his last doctoral student. So he not only guided my research direction and also enhanced my research skills, but he also actually a very excellent person with rigorous scholarship and a noble character. So I went to Professor Morita's laboratory in 1988. So at that time, the professor, also in my sense, is also associate professor in this laboratory. So at the first time when I met with Professor Morita, he gave me a book. I think everybody should know this book. It's entitled Introduction to Automata Theory, Languages and Computation. It's written by Hopcroft and Ullman. So this is a very famous and notable book. I think she asked me to read it first. So almost I spent nearly 2 months to read it, to understand what is the result. So after that time, Professor Morita felt that I had basically understand the fundamental principles of the computer science. So at that time, he first gave me a concrete, concise research topic. Is about to build a formal language model. So this model is called uniquely parallel passible grammar. Is proposed by Morita Sensei by himself. So the typical, I think the property of the grammar is that it allows parallel application of several lunars. And the parallel application of several lunars on single stream do not cause any conflict to occur. This is very nice, very nice. So it's called uniquely passive grammar, as it said. So at that time, because this is a completely new research topic for me, I was at that time encountered a very big bottleneck. I think every student, especially PhD students, should encounter these problems. Especially in the first 2 years, I encountered very bottleneck. I didn't have any good idea to resolve these problems because this is a totally new model. There is no any useful reference. There is no any useful previous results that you can cite, you can read. So you must do anything from scratch. So even at that time, I still always talk with Morita Sensei. He always gave me very, very useful advices and encouragement with very efficient patience, I think that's. So after a long time discussion with Professor Morita, I think in the third years of my PhD course, one day we suddenly have some good idea. We found some example, some languages that we can be passed in parallel, that can be actually passed in parallel in sublinear time. That's a very excellent result because in traditional models, every language can only be passed in linear time. This is the most fast approach. But by our parallel language, you can pass it in sublinear time. This is very surprised results. So this at that time, I think I immediately this opened my mind, opened my eyes, and also gave me a very confidence and actually increased my confidence to do the research work, to finish my PhD course. And so I especially feel at that time, I first felt the joy and exciting sense to the research. So I want to become a scientist at that time. Decided to become a scientist at that time. So since then, I think we jointly proposed several models and published 3 papers in the journal. Especially, we provide a correspondence between this new model grammars with the Chomsky hierarchy and prove the equivalence of the model as grammar to the one-dimensional serial automata. So after I get my doctoral degree, so also it's recommended by Professor Morita, I joined the NICT institution and worked with Dr. Pepper-san. I worked with Pepper-san. So this time, my research changed from the formal language to a simpler serial automata and a simpler cycle design. So we developed various asynchronous CA models and achieved their and actually proved their computational universality through the simulation of asynchronous cycles. But it could be said that even at that time, all our achievements were inseparable from the suggestions and assistance of Professor Morita and other experts. Because the most problem we encounter is that how to define the universality of asynchronous cycles. This is very similar to the how to define the reversibility of asynchronous systems, I think so. Because you know the by asynchronous serial automata, because the random selection of the cells, the computation may not converge. They may be stopped, maybe just trapped in the loop. So how we can say this can actually accomplish a universal computation at that time? This is a very important issue to us. But the Professor Morita Sensei gave us a very concise definition, the suggestions. So they suggested us to look the definition of long-deterministic computation, especially the long-deterministic Turing machine. What is the definition of a long-deterministic Turing machine? What is the computation by long-deterministic Turing machine? This gives us a very, very well suggestions. So by this suggestion, we can we first know how to define this model, how to talk about the universality of our asynchronous serial automata. And so we have proposed not many, at least some useful models, some useful serial automata models, and showed their universality. So in 2010, I returned to the Chongqing University in China to work as a professor. But my research still focused on the serial automata and asynchronous cycles design. So at that time, because I lived in China, the opportunity to meet and communicate with Morita Sensei, of course, decreased significantly. But we often discussed and communicate through the email. So even after returning to China, I would take short-term visits to Dr. Pepper's laboratory during my holidays almost every year. So each time, Pepper-san would arrange a seminar and invite many experts in Japan, including Professor Morita and Professor Umeo and Professor Imai and also Professor Isogawa to hold a useful discussion. This becomes a very good, very precious opportunity for me to have face-to-face communication with Professor Morita and other experts. So I think although we have communicated with, collaborated with Professor Morita on the serial automata, but for me, the research on serial automata is not major collaboration. The most I think the most topic I collaborate with Professor Morita is formal language. Another one is reversible elements, just the rotary elements, just talked by Pepper-san. So I think everybody knows that Professor Morita proposed the rotary elements and thereby designed the reversible Turing machines. I also remember at there is a conference on the quantum computing. It's held in Tokyo University, and Pepper-san also attended this conference. So Morita Sensei was invited to hold a keynote speech. He introduced the rotary element and the Turing machine built by this element. So after the speech, I think Professor Bennett was very interested to this model, and he asked a question to Morita Sensei. So he wants to know what's the significance of this element, and what's the usage of the element, especially for the reversible computing. So Morita Sensei replied that this is the first. So this element, and especially hardware has its cycles, allows the operation to be driven without a clock. That's a very interesting work because in traditional sense, the reversible computing must driven by clock in a deterministic way. But the model show the model without clock and then can move along it's only one single, can move around your cycles in a reversible way. So this was exciting works to show. So after that, I also attempted to apply this element to our asynchronous cellular automaton, especially applying on a model. It's called a self-timed cellular automaton. This was proposed by Pepper-san. Pepper-san wants to use it for it is possible structure for the knowledge computing. So I signed it. So I also want to simplify the rotary element. At last, I simplified this model, this elements, because the normal rotary element has almost eight input and output lines. So I simplified to a pair of simple elements, where each element has only 4 lines. And these 2 elements are mutually reversible elements. I showed that we can build that. So this is my attention, because I always want to use this element to build useful cycles and to show their universality or show their usefulness. But Professor Morita, he was standing at a different approach. She systematically classified all the elements. That was exciting work, except for the 4 lines, 3 lines, 4 lines, 6 lines, 8 lines. He classified all the elements and proved each element's the computability of each element. And so by his classification, I think the simplest element is we call the half rotary element, because it only was 2 input lines, 2 input lines, 2 output lines, and 2 states. I also said this. I also saw this element. I also wanted to prove its universality. After 1 week efforts, I gave up. I think it's not possible to prove it. I think this is impossible. But my supervisor, Professor Morita, insisted on this work. That's very great. I was very, very surprised. He proved the universality of this model, this element. That's what's exciting. So I think this is for the scientist insisting on your work is very important. For me, I lost the chance. Maybe I can prove it. Maybe I could prove it before the presidency, but I lost this chance. Okay. So I would say, Morita Sensei, to me, is a great teacher. It's not only also is a great teacher, a wonderful supervisor, and an outstanding scholar. So during my student days, when I was a student, every time I knocked on his door, knocked on his office door to discuss, to meet with him, no matter how busy he was, he can always put aside his work and patiently discuss with me. That's very, the professor in Japan is very busy. There are so many stuffs to do. But every time I asked to meet with, I want to discuss with Professor Morita, he also put aside any work to talk with me. That was very moved. It's the same. So this spirit has also inspired me. So nowadays, I also said to my students, if you have any questions, no matter anytime, you can anytime ask me. I will reply to you very, very soon. So this is what I done. This is also enlightened from as influenced by Professor Morita, I think so. So the unfortunate passing of Professor Morita Sensei is a great loss, I think, to the academic community, not only to the CA community, to the reversible computing modality, and but his knowledge and character will permanently perceived and continue to inspire us to move forward. Especially, I wish the young people here could put forward the polyasynthesis last work to one step further, I think so. So thanks, again, I want to thank Professor Das for organizing this memorial event, and thanks to all Kenichis for listening. So my speech is now come to an end. Thanks again.
Thank you, Professor Jia Lee. Yes. Yes, Shubhantu.
So I have a little question to Professor Lee, also Professor Pieper. That Kenichi Morita was the master of reversible computing.
Yes,
and
yes.
Is the master of reversible computing.
Yes.
And now you both are saying that he was interested in asynchronous cell automata.
Yes.
I want to know, as a master of reversible computing, how he was looking at reversibility in asynchronous cell automata.
Professor Das, I think like Najim's saying, she thinks the reversibility and the philosophical talk. so actually, I'm not sure about what is the reversibility in the reversible computing. But I think you and Dr. Lois' idea was very interesting. I read the paper. I think I reviewed it. the paper you Roy and you write about the reversibility of the ECA papers, right? I think that it's very interesting. For me, what my concern is it possible to build our reversible cycles to embed it in the asynchronous cell automata and then allow the computation to run in the cycles in backward, even in two directions, forward or backward, in a deterministic way. So I don't know. I don't know. For example, what is reversibility means? It's effective, but I think. So I was also wishing Professor Das would give some useful definition for me. I also waiting for that. If you have a good definition, maybe I can consider how to, based on your ideas or definitions, to build some useful computation model. I have one word because I said during my PhD student, I studied the formal language studied the Unicode possible grammar. I think I sometimes thought that uniquely parallel passive grammar, the uniqueness and the deterministicness could give some good hint for the reversible computing to the asynchronous models. Sometimes I thought about it, I think about it. I think it has a good hint because it's also proposed by Morita Sensei. I think Morita Sensei, why he wanted to build, design, propose such kind of unique passive grammar. I think in his mind, he has some new idea about the reversibility in computation, not only in the synchronous computation model, but also in something beyond the synchronous computing models.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Professor Jia Lee. I want to say sorry to Professor Imai because I'm running a little bit late. So I'm really sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
Oh.
So I think Tejiro has joined. Tejiro Ishaku. Professor Tejiro, are you with it?
No, no comment.
Okay, you want to say anything? No.
No.
Okay, fine. Anyone from the audience, you want to share any of your thoughts or any comments? I can see Jarko is here, General is here, Norman Magulas is here, Petlu is here, Barbara is here. So any one of you wants to say any words or wants to say anything? Any comments? Yeah, General.
Hi, good morning from Mexico City. So I am very happy to see many friends and colleagues several years later. So it was very interesting to hear and know to Jia Lee, but I am very interested to hear your history. And I have a particular interest. What is your actual topics of research for you? Thank you.
Sorry, I can. Please.
Yeah, what is your topic of research, actual topic of research that he is asking? I think your PhD topic he is asking.
My current research topic.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the question. Currently, I was interested in a new synchronous model. It's called synchronous communicating. Synchronous communication automata. So this is what kind of model I want to explain briefly, because currently every serial automata, whether you are synchronous or asynchronous, when you want to update your state, you must read at first before the updating, read the current states of your numbers. So in the asynchronous communicating model, every cell has a buffer or register record his numbers state. So this state maybe not the current state of the number, maybe the preferred state of the number. So it means you can change your state based on some states of the number, but not necessary to read your number state. You can base it on their previous state. This is what we are working on.
Okay, thank you. And so, and what university are you working?
Sorry.
What university are you working?
Chongqing University.
Oh, all right, all right.
Please send me an email if you have any questions.
All right. Okay.
Sorry, I should have mentioned the universities for everyone. I just skipped that. I'm sorry for that. I should have mentioned the current universities for everyone. I didn't mention.
So yeah, I think Lisan said it very quickly, but so it is Chongqing University.
I
Chongqing, yes.
sent this on
Okay.
Yeah, Chongqing University in China. Yes.
So the Qing is written by Q and the Chong is written by CH. CH,
Oh.
Chong, and then Xing.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
you, Ferdinand.
Okay. Anyone else want to ask or want to comment on anything?